Go Yard.
Hello and welcome to the CFCTALK podcast. It's me, Alex, your usual co-host, and I'm joined by Amart here, and we're going to go and digest our really fun to watch, wrong choice of words, game of football that we played against Man City yesterday. Amart, how are you doing, my friend? It's great to have you on again.
Yeah, I'm doing great personally, but like Chelsea wise, like football, we lost to City, like so it's now Tuchel 3, Pep 1, and we don't know how that battle would continue to go. But yeah, it was a disappointing loss, and we're just here to talk about it. So this is our therapy session.
Yeah, it's been 24 hours of pure pain. I'll admit I couldn't watch it live yesterday, but I managed to watch through. I shredded through the recording, full 90 minutes this morning, and I am very glad that there was I was able to skip little bits of it where City just kept having possession. So yeah, I was pretty glad about that. But I mean, getting in a bit, let's turn the clock a little bit by 45 minutes or so, and the lineup, it was a bit of a it's kind of, I'm not a flex or anything about my amazing predictions, but I got it right. Thiago Silva for Christensen, and it just kind of made sense, how we played a great 45 minutes against Spurs with 3-5-2. We thought, oh, this will be great for attacking as well, but it just didn't seem the case at all, really, in the 45 or 60 minutes really that we played with 3-5-2. So, did you expect it to, or you just think that we could have used Kai Havertz or Hakim Ziyech instead of just the two guys up front?
I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it at all because I get why people would have thought it would go for that, and I don't know whether you share the same psychic link with Pep, but the two of you got the two of you got the spot on. You knew what Tuchel was going to play, and I think a lot of people too also kind of, probably not a lot, but I think some people also knew because I think it's a no-brainer because that was how we did. Like, we did very well with that lineup in the second half, playing against Spurs. So him trying to go with the same kind of feeling, same kind of vibe again. It's pretty much it should be expected, but I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it at all. I thought he would go with the normal 4-3-3, but he went to the 4-4-2 or 4-5-2, the 3-5-2. I thought he'd go with the 3-4-3, but he didn't go with that. So we'd see.
Yeah, it was kind of like this time around, as the game against as the North London derby showed today, this time around playing 3-5-2 against a properly competent team, maybe it just overhyped by playing Spurs last week with it and destroying them. It kind of upped our confidence a bit higher than it should have been for this. I think it definitely did for mine, and it was pretty clear from the first half that they had sussed out how to counter our 3-5-2 by one thing I could definitely tell from it was they were they pretty much always attacked on the right hand side with Alonso and just kind of taking advantage of his lack of good defensive ability. So yeah, it seemed like they were properly ready for it. So yeah, first half wise, there's a couple of things we can talk about in the first half, but just not a lot of fun, was it?
Yeah.
What I've gotten written down is the why City pressed so good, because that's pretty much all it was.
The thing for me is basically they pressed so good because this time they actually respected us. They actually came. They actually came us. It's weird to say, but they came into this game, unquote unquote, like the underdogs. That's what they came as, because we are the Champions League winners. They are the Premier League winners, and we've beaten them 3 times on the bounce. So it's like they had more to prove in this particular game. So they came in with respect. I feel like the times we've played them in the past, the 3 times we've played them in the past, they thought they were going to win. Like they had that kind of confidence when they were playing. They had that kind of aura around them. Like with their fans, everything. Like you could see that there was a level of overconfidence. But with this one, even when you listen to some of the fans before the game, like they were fully aware of the threats that Chelsea could pose. So I think it's something that trickled down from the club to the fans. Like everybody actually kind of like now took Chelsea seriously. They didn't take us seriously the last time. We beat them 3 times, and then now they are taking us seriously. And I think this time Pep didn't come to play. He didn't come to joke around this time. He was on it. He was like, okay, you're a tactical genius. I'm also a tactical genius. We'll also see who gets it. It was interesting to watch. Like for a Chelsea player, for a Chelsea fan, it was frustrating, very very
Mm.
frustrating. But for a neutral, somebody who isn't supporting each side, like it would be a nice thing to watch. It'd be a nice game to watch, I would imagine, because they're two tactical geniuses and they are playing together. This one with their tactics, this one with their tactics, and Pep came out on top.
Yeah, it definitely seemed that way. Like until the 60th minute, we were. I mean, we'll get into second half later, but for most of the first half, we would just try and beat out this insane pressure that Man City were putting on us. Try and play through them, but whenever we did, we never really pushed on, and we'd always. I think you coined the term "back pass FC" before we started recording, and it was true. Like we yeah, most of our possession pretty much in the first half, we didn't have much of it, but it all just kind of seemed like we were just passing it around the back for most of it. We didn't really want to get forward at all, and we didn't really have the men forward either. And
Yeah,
like our the only real promising things in attacking wise in the whole of the first half were just a couple of good balls out to Timo, who like he had some good. I thought he was good in terms of his sharpness. Like he actually cut in for once. He cut in and tried to take a shot. I was like, we haven't seen this Timo in. Like I don't think, yeah, I don't think he's scored a single goal where he's properly, or maybe he has like a couple where he cuts in, but seeing what he used to do in Germany, or yeah, to see that him do that again or try that was nice to see. But yeah, he looked sharp. But then it was
yeah.
kind of a case of Diaz and Laporte. They really like had they could match him. It seemed like they could match him for pace for some of the times, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Like I think that's Werner's main problem since he came to the Premier League. Like the defenders are fast. Premier League defenders are quick. They are very very quick. And I don't want to defton like I don't want to I said defton like I'm speaking this, but I don't want to undermine the um Bundesliga. But I don't think they have um fast-paced defenders like the Premier League. The Premier League has fast-paced defenders and they have well-built defenders too as well. So I think that's what worries Werner a lot. He took advantage of that when he was in the Bundesliga and he was running and just leaving defenders for dead in his tracks. But in the Premier League, no, you can't do that. Even when we are playing against Villa, he can't. When we are playing against any team in the Premier League, you can see that he has pace, but when he starts running, the defender keeps up with him, and that's what happened yesterday. Like Cancelo was all over him. Like anytime he ran, it was all over him, and I think that's what kind of like caused him to slow down sometimes. He didn't really have confidence to go because anytime he went, the defender went with him. So he was going, and then you see him turn on the boosters, and then all of a sudden, then shuts it
Caught
off.
up. Yeah,
Yes,
you get
midway.
yeah.
It's great. Everything we talked about it before the game started. There was a chance where he 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 got the ball and was running. He was cleared through on goal, and then he just decided to pause. He stopped, and then Cancelo caught up with him, and then the chance was gone just like that. So it's 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 something that I think he needs to work on. But apart from that, I think yesterday, like you said, he was very very sharp. He was making the certain decisions where we never really thought he would do, and I think that's what everybody was crying out for because him playing with Lukaku is a very, very good thing. Like, I feel like it's a very, like, to play out very well. Starting for the first time next to Lukaku against City is a difficult task. It's a very, very difficult task. But probably in our next game, if he starts it next to Lukaku, it might be better. But I would rather prefer if he starts on the left side of like him and Mount playing behind him and Mount or him and Ziyech or him and Havertz, whoever it is, playing behind Lukaku rather than being the two strikers up top. I think it gives him more freedom that way, and he's able to pull defenders off him that way. But City were just set up good, man. They were set up very, very
Yeah.
well
And
yesterday.
yeah, I agree. Like it seemed like they just like they thought of all of our possible solutions to them. Basically, they knew how to deal with Lukaku. They just kind of put two guys on him, and whenever we tried to cross it in for them, we'd have two City defenders trying to go for the same ball. And Werner was just kind of. I mean, I do feel like to some extent they were letting him, like whenever he was running like out wide, they weren't really putting so much pressure on him because they
Yeah,
kind of it was like a recognition that this guy isn't the most threatening when he's running away from goal, or he's not when he's not
yeah.
running directly towards goal. And the only other real attacking threat in that team, or particularly in the first half, was Alonso. And it's just pretty easy to deal with him when you have João Cancelo on the right hand side to shut him down. So
Yeah.
and considering he's not very press resistant, you can just kind of they definitely like they were trying to rob like whenever the ball came to Alonso, they were like on him in a flash. It
Yeah.
was I think Bernardo Silva all the time was like almost like
And
his
he's
man
faster,
marking.
and he's faster than Alonso too. So
Hmm.
that's where he loses all the time. And
Yeah.
I think watching our previous games, you can see that Alonso has had the lion's share of possession,
Hmm.
especially compared to Reece James on the other side or whoever plays on the other side. Alonso is always starting attacks on the left, and our attacks are coming from the left. And um, I think with Chilwell, it's more balanced. If we play with Chilwell, it's more balanced. Chilwell hits and Reece hits. Chilwell hits and Reece hits. So it's kind of like confuses the opposition at times because we are coming from both sides. But if the attack is coming from one side, it's easier to stop it than when it's coming from both sides because
Yeah.
I think when Reese went off, we had issues on the right as we switched there, and he did pretty well. I think there were some passes that he could have given earlier, and he also he delayed in getting certain balls across, but like I don't know, the attack wasn't there like it was Reese. Reese would have been way better, and the battle between Grealish and Reese in the first half was very very interesting. It was very very tough
Hmm.
until James went off, and then Grealish just had a field day on the right because he was just beating Aspi left and right, up and down, and it wasn't a good thing to see. And yeah, that that sorry, that's it.
Sorry. No, keep going, man. It's fine.
No, I was just
Yeah.
going to add a little about Alonso's pace. I was just going to talk about Alonso's
Yeah.
pace. I think that's always been my issue whenever he starts. That's always been my issue whenever he starts. And we saw a little bit of that when we played against Liverpool. Salah was getting the best of him a lot in the beginning, and then this game you could just see Bernardo Silva just taking advantage, full advantage. And yeah, like that's
Yeah.
the problem.
Like yeah, we definitely missed like the added athleticism, I think, of Chilwell. And I mean, even we even saw it with Loftus Cheek when he came on and did really well. And
Yeah, yeah,
and we could see that through his bullying of the defenders, holding off the ball really well with his body. And so yeah, just missing some of that was yeah, definitely contributed to us not doing as well. And yeah, it kind of feels like with Alonso, to some extent maybe you could say it's a knee-jerk reaction, but we know this happens with Alonso time and time again. He has his purple patches and then he fades away back to the bench. And I think that maybe it's time for it is difficult to it would be quite I don't know. It's a difficult one with Juventus coming up. It's like, do you throw Joel in the deep end? He's not started any big games at all this season. You're just going to go and say, yep, do your thing against Federico Chiesa. So yeah, but we just
that's a big
it.
axe.
Yeah, it is a big ask. So yeah, that's we can dread that in about half an hour's time. But yeah, it was annoying with Alonso, and definitely his slowness kind of in the mind and in his feet just did show a bit, and they definitely
Yeah,
targeted him. It just felt like they had completely sort like figured us out. There was nothing that
yeah,
they weren't prepared for, and it kind of just, I guess that's the downside of 3-5-2.
yeah.
And
I don't want to go into much on Alonso, but one last thing on Alonso is I didn't like the long balls he was hooking up
mm,
um left right. I think it's because he was put in a tight spot, so he was always hitting it long. And the annoying thing was that it wasn't accurate. He wasn't looking to see whether Werner was open or Lukaku was open. He just hooked it long, and it got. I was very very frustrated. He did that all game. He did that all game. Anytime he was pinned to it into a tough spot, he just hit the ball long, and then we lost possession. Hit the ball long, we lost possession, and yeah,
yeah,
that's the last I'm saying on Alonso.
yeah. We move on. We love you, Marcos, but no, it's time. It's time to go. No, it's not time to go. It's just time for the bench, I think, for you. But yeah, the only other things I could think of for the first half were Mendy being the, like, I think, I'm trying to remember the first half saves now. We're on the right side. Uh, I can't remember the ones that really come to mind were all in the second half. But
Yeah, I think the first half he just made like some good saves from the
mm,
corner.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
some good
they had
catches.
they had a lot of corner kicks in the first half, a lot. I got very very worried in the first half when they were
Mm.
getting corner after corner after corner, but he did very well. He made some good catches, good punches in the first half.
Yeah, that was there. I think, yeah, that's pretty much all the. I can't really think of much else for the first half. It was just dreadful. Just not that
I,
much really
yeah,
happening.
I think the first half. Another thing I noticed in the first half too was Kante. Kante
Mm,
was also out of his depth
yeah,
where he was playing. I think you see the change for me to take Kante off and bring Havertz to me was a
mm,
worrying one. Like I didn't really like it. I would have preferred if he took either Jorginho or Kovacic off, move Kante back, and then bring Havertz in, and then play Havertz in like behind Lukaku and Werner. That would have been way better because the battle was lost. Our entire battle on the field was lost in the midfield. That was where we're losing possession a lot.
yeah,
So if you take Kante wasn't really playing the midfield yesterday. He was playing further up the pitch. So like taking him off didn't really make a difference.
yeah,
Yes, you are bringing an attacking threat, but the main problem Kovacic and Jorginho were losing possession a lot, like Jorginho more than Kovacic, but both of them were
mm,
doing it. So you could have taken one of them off and then put Kante in to solidify that midfield, and then it would have made a whole lot, like it would have changed it better. It would have made the game very very very
yeah.
different.
Well, I remember. So in the second half, then Loftus-Cheek did come on, but did did Jorginho get subbed off?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jorginho
he
subbed off. Yeah,
yeah, and then we
that
played a
that
pivot of Loftus-Cheek Kovacic, which
yeah, and it was very very good. It
mm,
looked very very good. I feel like that was the change that he should have done. He should have taken Jorginho rather off and then moved Kante to the back there. Then later on, then you bring um um RLC in next
yeah,
to Kante and then see
yeah.
what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I really didn't expect of all the midfield combinations to see Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek, because they are quite similar, but with Loftus-Cheek having a bit more or a lot more physicality about himself. But they're both very good dribblers, and they both hold up the ball very well. So I guess in terms of having like, yeah, a variety of skill sets in that midfield, yeah, I just didn't expect to see it. But it seemed to work though, like you say. I mean, Loftus-Cheek held up the ball really, really well, and
Yeah,
it kind of just showed, like, I mean, maybe it's kind of made him, our opinion of him, look even better because of the fact that we barely attacked until he came on, really, or
yeah,
barely
yeah,
attacked until the 60th or so minute. But
yeah.
yeah,
I also think Tuchel didn't really have much of a choice. Like you said, Kovacic and Loftus-Cheek are very very similar, but if you look at Kovacic and Jorginho, who was the weakest link in that midfield? It was Jorginho. So he
Yeah.
had to sacrifice. He had to take Jorginho off
Mm.
and bring in Loftus-Cheek.
Exactly. And it's like I guess to some extent it's probably about saving them as well. Yes, they weren't having great, or Jorginho wasn't having a great game at all. But when it comes to Juventus, I'm kind of glad that Kante got saved a little bit. Yes, the result. I mean,
True.
we sacrificed the result in a way, but if it means that we get to play him against Juventus, I'm happy for him to get like not play the full 90. But yeah, like you say, though, it's definitely Jorginho could have come off a bit sooner or a bit earlier for Loftus-Cheek, perhaps. And then you play Kante, Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, which would have been pretty good. But it
Yeah.
was nice to see the Loftus-Cheek. I genuinely did not expect him this season to have this little comeback that he seems to be having. I genuinely thought he'd be stuck with like having a couple of games in the cup and that would be it. But he really seems like he's coming back to, he's working his way back
Yeah.
to 2018, 19, or Sarri era Loftus-Cheek. We're starting to see
Yeah.
that again.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he didn't leave the club because there are rumors
Mm.
that he was going to join Sarri again.
Mm.
But I think he probably impressed Tuchel a lot during the preseason and the training sessions. I think he impressed Tuchel. So Tuchel he hasn't really had a chance under Tuchel. So the preseason was a time for him to prove himself. Along with Chalova, I think Chalova also did very well in preseason, like also proved himself. And Malangsa is also still in the team. Barkley is still in the team. Like these players are people that Tuchel chose to keep on, whether based on merit or based on whatever it is, but they impressed him. They impressed him, and he decided to keep them on. And I think Loftus-Cheek, if he takes all his chances that he's given in these early stages, I think we will see him feature more in the team. And he did very, like you said, he did very well. He changed the game, but I don't know, like the skeptic in me. I don't want to put a bad cloud over this, but the skeptic in me is that I feel like sometimes cameo appearances are overrated. They
Mm.
are they are taken way out of like how it actually is. Because
Yeah.
when you play football, you've played football before. I haven't really played football. Like I don't have the lungs for it. But I've been on the bench. There was a team. There was a school team. I think in the Polytechnic, where it wasn't really serious. But like I was like a coach. I was the coach. So like when you're standing on the bench, or you're standing on the touchline, you can see the game in a whole different light. You
Yeah.
can see the game in a whole different light. It wasn't a serious thing, so I don't have any. We didn't even do well, but like you could see the game in a whole different light. So if we are sitting on the bench and you come in from the bench, you have a better advantage. You have a very like a better advantage because you've seen how the game is going so far, and you can adjust. You get the instructions from Tuchel, do this, do this, do that. When you go in, you're doing exactly that, and you're doing it well. If you have the ability to match it, you would excel. And then you see that after like somebody has had a very good cameo, and then the next game it starts, then he doesn't quite live up to that cameo. He doesn't live up to that performance.
Yeah.
So that is what I'm worried about. But we know that Loftus Cheek is a player who has that ability. So if he should start again the next game, I'm hoping he can replicate it. That's just my only worry.
It's like the curious case of Callum Hudson-Odoi in a way where for most of his appearances over the past 2 or 3 years or so, whenever he's come off the bench, he's looked like a breath of fresh air. But
Yeah,
not genuinely, generally, whenever he started, he's just not had the same impact. So yeah, we've got to be a bit we've got to be a bit cautious with this, but I mean, maybe it's probably a bit too soon. I mean, to say throw him in, start him against Juventus, but like, I think,
people are saying it.
yeah,
People are saying he should
they
start
are.
against Juventus, and that's
It's,
that's what um creates my worry whether he would perform like that.
yeah, it's like it's one thing playing well in your cameos against Premier League champions and good Premier League teams, but it's another starting in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Like for that one, I hope we go back to the 3-4-3 and play. I mean, probably I'll jump the gun with this predicted lineups and say I want Jorginho and Kante playing in that one. Probably not the 3-5-2 again, but yeah, but it is great to see though, and like it's kind of it softens. I feel like it softens the blow of Saul. Like Saul got a lot of hype when he first signed, and it's kind of like people. I mean, it was. I think most people knew that he's not at the level that we've all kind of hyped him at. But I mean, he's not had a great past 2 years at Atletico Madrid, but it's kind of on Tuchel to improve him. But yeah, I think having Loftus-Cheek come in and raise it and be back to, or try to come back to Sarri era Loftus-Cheek, it's definitely softened the blow of the whole Sal thing, or Sal
Yeah.
transfer. And worst case anyway, Sal goes back to Atleti and we don't have to buy him or anything. So it's like you can't really lose in that situation.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
exactly. I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah. So it is good to see though, and I mean, we can go on and on about Loftus-Cheek. He's an amazing player, but yeah, we should change it to the RLC Talk podcast to be honest. But Mohammed would probably have something to say about it. So we'll talk about other parts of our game in the second half, and yeah, I mean, the goal that we conceded was just a bit like I think a bit of luck in it. It's the only thing I could see that was particularly wrong from us was it was pretty funny actually. It was Werner trying to block the shot from Cancelo from really what far. So yeah, it was Cancelo trying to do a long shot. Werner just kind of lunges in, jumps up, and then Cancelo just completely sells him and goes the other way, and then
Yeah.
plays it to Jesus and does some good dribbling and shoots, deflects off Georgie, and then it's just not a nice goal to concede. But
Yeah.
we had our luck with goals last week with the Kante one, so I guess it kind of came around to bite us in the ass.
Yeah. I'm sure Spurs fans watching it will be like, yeah, that's how it feels. That's how it feels.
Yeah, dude, honestly, because to be fair, imagine if the Kante goal was scored against us and it wasn't Kante, you'd be so
You'll be
mad. You'd be so mad because that was
exactly.
just imagine deflecting that much and it comes in just off the post. It's like
Yeah.
hurts.
Yeah.
But
And I don't know, like when he took the corner shot, I was very worried when he took a shot because they were taking it long all game till that point. And I think after that short corner, they took the rest long again. So when they took that short corner, I was very worried. I was like, right, they're switching it up. What's happening? So immediately they were able to get to, like, Cancelo was able to get it to Jesus. I was like, nah. You see, these kind of games, this kind of positions, like the way the defenders were positioned, our defenders were positioned, any shot that comes in is very, very likely that it will deflect and go in. It's very likely that it will deflect and go in. And he hit it low. He didn't hit it high. If probably he hit it high, um, our defenders would have done something with it. But he hit it low, and what they did, it clipped Jorginho's feet. I think Jorginho was trying to stop it, but he couldn't stop it, and it deflected and just left Mendy rooted. There was nothing he could do about it. Those kind of shots, you either hope it hits the bar and comes off, or it just goes to the side. But it went straight in, and yeah, like there's nothing you could do about it.
yeah, just unfortunate. We're never going to be. I mean, we're always going to concede goals, like even if it's just the one or so every 5 games. But yeah, and they're just going to go in like that. So not much you can do about
Yeah,
it. But it's the response that you want to see. That's how you get back. That's like, yeah. What's more important is the response to that goal. And we still, I mean, there were good moments from Loftus-Cheek, but like it just felt like we missed that. We missed Mason Mount. We missed
yeah.
someone else to help out Werner because whenever it was Lukaku was being marked by, say, Diaz or Laporte, Werner, there were a couple of times where Werner was dribbling into space out wide, and then there'd be 3 Man City players all just come around
Oh,
him.
just come around him. Yeah, yeah.
It was like
Like
just
I think when before the game started, the one I was watching on my TV set. I think it was Owen, Michael Owen, and Sean Wright Phillips were the pundits before the game started, and Owen made um an analysis of how Chelsea played under Lampard compared to Tuchel. And when you watch Tuchel's the analysis made on Tuchel, it's very very similar to what City did today. Like there was a graphic showing how Chelsea defended with the back five, and anytime the striker got the ball, there were two defenders on him, there were three defenders on him, and we didn't do that enough today. And I think City were the ones who took that, and they used it very very well. And like you said, when Werner had the ball, the players around him. When Lukaku had the ball, even though I think Lukaku's hold up play was very good, but it was just unfortunate that anytime that he laid the ball off, a City defender was there to intercept it. Anytime he tried to find Werner, a City defender was there. So he was holding the ball well, trying to bring people into the game. But sometimes the passes were not accurate enough. Sometimes from him or from the person he passes the ball to. And yeah, and he was left in no man's land most of the time. Because
Yeah.
Werner was also coming in deep sometimes to win the ball and bring it out, but it just didn't work. It just wasn't our day.
Yeah, that preciseness of pass and that pace of pass is definitely something that like you associate very much with Mount. So it's like, yeah, just not having that. And when both our strikers can be double teamed, it's just, and the rest of the team isn't, like, we don't have that many, no, our midfielders particularly attacking. It's just not
Yeah,
really. It's just a recipe for inactive or not many attacks or not many shots. So
yeah,
yeah, I felt sorry for Lukaku. Like there was the one where I think he scored the goal and it got disallowed because Havertz was like a good 5 meters or so offside.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's just like shame. But yeah,
And I think he knew it. I think he knew
mm,
it. I think he knew it when he scored. He was happy, but like he knew it that this because we all saw it. We all saw
mm,
it that he was offside, but we were just hoping that if they show the angle, he would be close, and maybe those the thicker lines would help him a bit. But nah, he was clearly offside. It was bounced offside, and yeah, it was unfortunate that wasn't a goal.
it's a shame. But yeah, it was like I think the main thing that really won it for City, well, that really neutralized us was their press. It was just ridiculous. Like we barely had any time on the ball whatsoever, whether it was in our half or theirs, and it just, yeah, not having mountains, not really having any much drive to get up the pitch until, I mean, Kovacic, I thought he did a little bit of dribbling like in the second half, but it was just it was just all very hit and hope pretty much until
Yeah,
we decided to, or until we got Loftus-Cheek on and Kovacic playing a bit better.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the game today we lacked an attacking midfielder behind.
Mm.
Games like this, I'm happy you mentioned Mount, but games like these like hit the points fair like this team like how what am I even trying to say? I think it drives further the point that Mount is a very very good
Yeah.
um an important player in this team. That's what I'm trying to say. The words were just jumbled up in my mouth. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Lost you a little bit. Uh,
he was he wasn't really playing much. He wasn't the KDB that we knew. Kevin De Bruyne wasn't the
mm,
KDB that we knew because he was also like I think Jorginho and Kovacic did a good job with him, but unfortunately they left the other players also to run free on the pitch, and that was the problem. And I think we didn't have like an
yeah.
opposite of what they were doing on
Mm.
our side. Probably a Mount, Havertz or ZS starting would have been way better.
Yeah, it takes some of that attention away from Werner and Lukaku, and that's pretty much why we, like, they got double teamed, both of them, because we didn't have that third attacking midfielder for them to worry about, like you say.
Yeah,
Whereas when they have Foden, De Bruyne, and Grealish, and we can't double team all of them, so it's
yeah,
like, yeah, that left out Grealish to cause so much havoc pretty much in this game. he could have easily had a goal or probably a couple in that. So yeah, it was a big miss, and I guess it's a good learning experience for Tuchel in a way, but it did show that, I mean, it's probably the first time he's properly got. I mean, that you can say we haven't been playing amazingly in the past couple of games, but the last time where Tuchel, I genuinely can't remember the last time he properly got it wrong. Like, I yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of it. But
I think the thing with Tuchel is that anytime he tries to change from a 3-4-3,
mm,
he gets issues. Anytime he tries to
yeah,
change the system,
yeah,
tries to tweak it a bit, then he gets issues. I think the last time he had an issue
mm,
was it against, I've forgotten who it was, but we played a draw in one of his earlier games. He tried to change the system and it didn't work, and he went back to a 3-4-3. So I think that's the issue with Tuchel at the moment. He anytime he tries to experiment, we just go
yeah. Like the
and play
Villa
like that.
game, we played 4-3, didn't we? I think we went to a 4-3-3 in the Villa game, or am I mistaken? I can't remember.
The the Carabao Cup or the
In the cup game where
I
we
didn't watch the
played.
cup game. I didn't watch the cup game, so
Yeah, I think it
I'm not
was.
sure.
Yeah, I think we did because we played. Yeah, I think we did go to a 4-3-3 with Loftus-Cheek as a deep line midfielder, and it worked okay. But it's like we still took it to penalties, and it wasn't the best defensive performance ever. So I just, yeah, like you say, it just feels like we're just locked into the 3-4-3. Until the manager goes, we're stuck. We're just done. We're stuck with it.
I I, I
Yeah,
I think that's probably a credit to Tuchel if you
yeah.
think about it, because he has drilled a 3-4-3
Hmm.
into their bones that they
Yeah.
can't play anything
Mm.
else.
Oh, he's awakened it. Remember, the 3-4-3 is already drilled into their bones
Yeah, yeah,
from Don Antonio. So
it's true.
this guy's just kind of, he's done some magic rain. I think two goals what he's done is just this magic rain dance or something to just kind of awaken this knowledge of 3-4-3 in all these players' head. Well, then again, it is almost a completely different team from Conte, but with a
Yeah,
couple of players still in. But yeah, he's awakened that natural. Because to be fair as well, even these guys. So whilst Conte was playing 3-4-3 in the Premier League winning team, that trickles down. So like, generally in the youth teams, they play the same way, or they try to
yeah,
play the same way in formation as the Premier League, as the team in the the first team. And
yeah.
Mounts particularly was in the he was in like the under
In the youth team,
18s. He was
yeah,
in the youth teams when we were playing 3-4-3. So
yeah.
he has some experience with that, I imagine. So it's not so unfamiliar for him. So yeah, play like you say though, it's just we're stuck with it. We're stuck with it
Yeah,
forever now. There's no going back.
there's no going back. We just need to go with it. But there's a part of me really wanted Lukaku and Werner to work up top. Part of me
Yeah.
really wanted it to work. I
Yeah.
don't know whether our next Premier League game would be probably the best place to showcase it, but or to test it out. But I don't know. I don't know. I really wanted it to work. Like how little would it be if Lukaku and Werner were on it, like they were on it and clicking very well. Like that would be a crazy link up
And it
up
still
top.
can. It still can. Like I still think it can work in a 3-4-3 because you're kind of basically just playing Mount as a slightly more advanced Kovacic instead. So you're taking out Kovacic, playing Mount instead, and Mount's kind of, he is the right winger in a way, but he's also that third midfielder. So it's like a halfway house pretty much from a 3-4-3 to a 3-5-2. So yeah, I still think it can work. And we've seen when Werner's come on and played with Lukaku, it works. It definitely works. And he adds, I think if we didn't have Werner today, it would have been even more of a snooze fest, to be honest, because
Yeah, yeah,
just nothing really there. So yeah, I want it to work out for him, and I think he's still like, there's no way his Chelsea career isn't over that by any stretch of imagination. Yes, he's not been the hottest of form or anything, but his usefulness is still there. It's just bad at the office for most players attacking wise today. So yeah, not much to work with. But I think that kind of sums up our City game, to be honest. I don't really have if we don't have anything more to say, I think we can kind of get into our tasty little away day in Turin in a couple
I,
of
th- I,
days'
th-
time.
I think we can highlight Mendy's
Oh yeah.
efforts on the pitch. He did like we said it before we recorded that if it wasn't for Mendy, like man, like we would have lost this game by like 3-4 goals.
Yeah.
This guy this guy really saved us.
Yeah, dude. He like there are, I think that one against Grealish is etched into my mind. I
Yeah,
think I mentioned about four
yeah.
times in the past 40
I
minutes.
I, I thought it was a
That good.
goal. I
Yeah.
thought it was a goal.
Oh man, because it was that good. Yeah, it was going right in the corner, right in the bottom corner. That's the hardest thing to save in football. That's the hardest kind of shot because
Yeah, yeah,
it's the furthest away from you, and he
yeah.
managed to get down and low to it. Just
And
amazing.
imagine if Grealish scored against us because I had them I had the fans chanting you're just a that Mason Mount you're just a that Mason so I had them chanting that so if imagine if he had scored man like
Mm,
it would be bad and I think he tried it twice.
mm.
The first one was saved and then the second one I think it just went it's a bit wayward. Yeah, Mendy is just God sent, man. It's just God sent.
Yeah, he's just so like the confidence this man inspires in the rest of the team. It's just it's too good. Yeah, I love the man. What a signing!
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I mean, we've all people have been saying for quite a while that budget. I mean, he's not really a budget signing, but relative to what I mean, if you can 20 million nowadays for a keeper isn't like it's not the. I mean, compared to Kepa, it's not that much. That's what I'm trying to say. So,
yeah,
like, it's not like a ASP level bargain signing, but he's definitely up there, I think, because what we have in him is just pure like confidence, but like great shot stopping ability, great with playing at his feet, which a lot of people were saying they were quite worried about Mendy playing his feet with. Sorry,
yeah.
worried. I'm ranting here now. But yeah, just they doubted his ball playing abilities. They, but yeah, he's just been perfect pretty much. He's like I can
Yeah,
barely remember him making a mistake, and he's
yeah.
so strong all parts of the job. So it's just what a
yeah.
signing, and
Be,
man,
before he came to Chelsea, a lot of Chelsea fans had not heard of him, including myself. Had not heard of him. Like I think they just came from relegation and they played one season in the French League One. So like it wasn't really he wasn't really one of the best um um um, goalkeepers in the league in France. But like credit to Peter Cech, man. Like Peter Cech saw something that we all didn't see. He just saw it and was like, nah, this is the next
yeah, this is
best
it.
keeper. This
Oh,
is it. This
he's
is
the
it.
man. He's the man.
Yeah,
He's got this special goalkeeping, just identification, talent
yeah.
identification.
And I think at the time all Chelsea fans were just like just give us another option apart from Kepa at the time. So like
Yeah.
everybody was just happy to welcome Mendy in, and he was tall. He had big hands. I remember the picture. He was just standing like this. He had big like hands. He was tall, and we're like, okay, let's just give him a chance. And everybody, like any Chelsea player that we sign, we have to give him a fair chance. And he absolutely he smashed it. He smashed it. Like the clean sheets this guy has had since he came to Chelsea is just insane.
It's pretty
It's
much
insane.
50%, I think, or it might be even more. But his ratio of clean sheets to games, it's like pretty much half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just mad. It's actually just, it's a joke. It is a joke how
The,
good.
the safest hands in the Premier League.
I know, right? The biggest hands in the Premier
The
League and the
biggest hands
safest. Yeah.
the safest. Exactly.
It's true. We laugh, but it's simply true. But yeah, that's just wouldn't want to have anyone right now in goal other than him. He's just so the confidence. It's just the effect. I don't think I've ever seen a keeper have so much effect. Maybe it's probably a bit of the whole Kepa conundrum as well, but just
Yeah,
the confidence that he spreads to the whole team, and like that his safe hands on corner kicks. Just
yeah.
every time he catches a corner, it's just the best feeling ever. It's so
Like
good.
anytime a striker is even going to close him down, you are still confident. You're still
Mm.
sure that this he will get it away. He would get this ball away. And I think, yeah, he just oozes a lot of confidence. And when the keeper is confident, the defenders are also confident. So the defenders make less mistakes. And sometimes too, I think Czech used to do this a lot. Sometimes too, the keeper instructs the defender, like he's coming, like do this, do that, do this, do that. Like they tell them. So if the keeper is good enough to see those pockets in space or see those faults in defense, he can help build up.
I think we'll now get into our nice little away day in Turin in a couple of days' time. Oh man, the one big club. I think the one of the only. I'm about to make a bad statement here, or a wrong statement maybe. I was about to say the only big European club that we haven't played, like, but in the Champions League. But I think we have in 2012, 13.
Yeah, yeah,
Man, exactly.
we
Called
played
it.
them.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
See,
wasn't it that game the first leg that Oscar scored two
yeah,
brilliant
yeah. In the group
goals?
stages, history repeating itself. 2012 repeating itself again.
I don't
We
want to
get
go
given.
through that again. I don't want to go through that drama. Okay,
We're not getting.
let's wait till probably the quarterfinals and see
Yeah,
whether everything lined up. If
yeah.
everything lined up, then we'd
Let's
see.
wait. Let's wait until we see that we sack Tuchel after not getting out of the group
No, 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 no,
stages,
no,
and
no.
then we go and hire Rafa Benitez, and then we win the Europa League
No,
with.
no, we don't
No,
want to
no,
see
no,
that happen.
no. It would.
We don't want to see that happen.
Yeah,
I don't know, like sometimes I don't know. I don't like Rafa, so sometimes I kind of block the fact that he won something for us. I block it out of my head. So sometimes when people say that we won the league with Rafa, I'm like, yeah, that's true. We did win the league
we
with
did that.
we
Did
won the
that.
Europa League with Rafa. I sometimes
Oh,
forget it.
yeah, that was a good reminder. But yeah, it's we haven't played them in what, 9 years. Their team has completely changed, and they have like it. But they're not in the best moment, are they, right now? And we know that that they won't be. There'll be no Morata reunion. Hopefully, he'll be back for the Stamford Bridge one. But yeah, no, Morata's injured. Dybala's injured. So, and they don't have Ronaldo anymore. So what's there to be afraid of? That was a bit. If we lose now, that's going to get memed. But oh well, I'll take it. But yeah, it's one to look forward to. I think. Yeah, we're not going into it with the best, like, form wise. We're all right, but playing wise, we've had some dodgy-ish games recently in the past couple of games. So it's I'm not sure what to expect with this, like, because Juventus aren't that strong right now either.
Yeah,
So it's
with Ronaldo, they were miles better. They are still good. They are not. They've not fallen off that, but they started the league very very shaky. I think they drew the first game, they lost the second game. By the third week, they were 19th or 18th or something like that. They were just I think they were either just above the relegation zone or they were in the relegation zone, which was they were Arsenal levels basically. So it was bad. But I think they've picked up form. Morata has come into the game again, and I think he scored. I don't quite remember, but I have to check. But I think he scored a goal in their last game, and then he got injured. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. Let me check and make sure. Okay, he didn't. It was Dybala. Dybala was the one who scored the first goal, and yeah. So Dybala can make it. Morata can make it. It's gonna be a very very interesting game. Going this game after losing to City, like I'm less confident, but I feel like we're not going to go with the 3-5-2 formation again. We're going to go with the 3-4-3. So that would make me a little bit more confident. And yeah, it's the Champions League, man. Like anything happens in the Champions League. I don't think form matters in the Champions League that much. I don't think form matters. Like people turn up in the Champions League and it's crazy. So it's going to be a very tough match, very very good one to watch too. So I hope we come on top. I really really hope we come on top, and I hope Mount is ready for that game too as well.
Yeah, I think Tuchel said something about that in the conference a couple of days ago, that hopefully he'd be back. And boy, do
Okay.
we need, yeah, definitely. I mean, although, it's one of those things we always say on the podcast, Hakim Ziyech always comes alive in the Champions League. So yeah, I'd be all right with Ziyech starting too, but
Yeah.
this, I wouldn't really want to drop Werner either. So I think for the front three, just to kind of get our predicted lineups out of the way, or hopeful lineups out of the way, but I'm hoping for a Werner, Lukaku, and Mount for this one. But I'd be happy with either, like if he's going to go with Havertz in there or Ziyech in there, fine by me. But I think
I,
we need Mount.
I have a feeling he might not start Werner. I have a feeling he
Mm,
might not. I have a feeling if Mount is fit, he might go in Mount and Havertz or Mount and
yeah.
Ziyech. But I'm really, really hoping he goes with Ben. I'm hoping he does and puts Ben on the left, puts Mount on the right.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's also what I'm hoping for because that makes our attack way, 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 way better. It makes our attack better. It increases our press because both Havertz and Mount or Werner and Mount, they will definitely press if they are playing behind Lukaku. So and they might give him they will give him more opportunities to score. He hasn't scored in 2 games, which is weird. Like he has to score. Like Lukaku has to score every game. Like he's the kind of I keep saying it, but he's the kind of striker where you give him a chance, you take it. Once you create a chance for him, you take it. And we haven't created enough chances for him. City were very very good, and they blocked those chances. So I'm just hoping that um um Juventus don't call Pep up and be like, no, you know what, give us that setup. We want to use that setup, or carefully instruct people to watch every
Yeah.
microsecond of the City Chelsea game and see where
Mm.
they can replicate it. But nah, we are not going the 3-5-2. We are going to we are I'm confident we'll go with a 3-4-3 and
Mm.
we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully we win. Hopefully we have to win.
Because I'm not sure about like how it works at Juve with them playing Juan Cuadrado at right back. I'm not sure how good he is at right back, how good he is defensively, particularly. But imagine I can just picture the Timo Werner going to the space that's vacated by Juan Cuadrado, going attacking too much or getting too far up the pitch. So it just kind of seems like a good matchup on that side of the pitch. But yeah, I'm fine with Mount Havertz as well. But yeah, as long as they're not sharing any secrets or tactical insights, I think should be all right. Besides, we're the reigning champions, so they're going to be scared of us to some extent. I think they know
they
like how
they
good. Yeah,
it can go 2 ways. They can either be scared of us or they can
want to
uh
prove
try want to
yeah,
prove that they beat the champions.
yeah,
So that's the thing.
yeah.
It might be a motivation for them.
Goes goes both ways for sure. But
Because
yeah,
I don't think as a Chelsea fan, I don't remember the last time where teams were actually afraid of Chelsea. Like
mm,
we no matter how good we played, it
mm,
just felt like we were still underestimated no matter
yeah,
how good we were,
always,
how good we played, always. So it's like teams
yeah.
come in and they're like, it's Chelsea. We can beat them. And then
Mm.
we surprise them on the pitch. So I don't know. If they
Literally,
come with that attitude, we'll beat them.
I genuinely don't think that's happened. It's happened properly since the Mourinho first time around,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
2004,
exactly.
2005, when we
Exactly.
like particularly being scared of us in Europe. Like in 14, 15, we were playing the PSG years where we keep playing them. PSG were never
Yeah,
properly afraid of us.
yeah, they weren't.
People weren't properly afraid of us in Europe. Even in 2012 when we won it, they were just kind of afraid by our massive cojones and juju and magic and luck to some extent. But yeah, and then before then, 2008, I don't remember any, like, we weren't Man United with a big with a well, I guess there were other teams as well, like Barcelona, who people were probably a bit more, or teams that were a bit more afraid of. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's not since Mourinho first time around, 2004,
I,
2005.
I think even with Mourinho first around, it's because he was Mourinho. People didn't even really give us that credit.
Mm.
People didn't really give us that credit because a lot of people hated Mourinho. They hated him. They didn't like him. So like we didn't really get enough praise at the time. I think that was one of the earlier times where Mourinho was saying that the press was against us and stuff like that. We do good things, nobody talks about it. Like we do one bad thing or we lose a game, and then everybody is talking about it and saying that is has it gone has it gone left, has it gone wrong and all that. So I don't think we've ever been that kind of team where yes, Tuchel said no one wants to play against us. We create a team that no one wants to play against us, and yes, and I don't think it's a truth that no one wants to play against us. But the thing is that no one can really play against us.
Yeah.
They can't. That's the thing. They try and play against us, but they fail every time. So it's that is actually the reality.
Yeah. That's the great thing when you go into games where you're not sure exactly how things will pan out. We always know that we command a certain respect for our team when others play against us, because yeah, it's just we're just in such a strong place right now that we can go to most teams and be at least a little bit or somewhat confident. And yeah, I'm really not sure how this one against Juventus is going to go, because yeah, it's just you can never expect these, or never really predicting lineups and scores in the Champions League is a step too far for me. I can do Premier League 90 further.
your
So
your
yeah,
your juju just ends at
yeah,
the Premier League.
it's yeah. My subscription to a certain stream has ends right there. But yeah, it's you never know what to expect. But I can only hope for a good clean sheet and a solid away performance, because and hopefully one to add to the collection of one. Add yeah. I'm losing my mind. One to the add to the collection of classic away performances from Chelsea in the Champions League. So yeah,
Yeah.
looking forward to that. I
I,
mean,
but I think we'll win. I don't know. I can't predict the scoreline, but I think we'll win. I think Lukaku will score.
so that's a prediction.
Yeah, that's my prediction for now. So
Yeah,
before the
yeah.
game starts, we can make our
Lukaku's got that inside knowledge, you know. He knows the league, he knows all about
yeah, yeah.
he can suss them out real fine. It'll be totally fine. But yeah, we can either do a lineup or we can kind of call time on this fun little episode on right now. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think we've basically said who we want to start
Yeah.
in the attack, but I think it's the defense is that, and I think you also mentioned Jorginho and Kante should play in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah, it
think
pretty
we've
much
we've
picks
talked.
itself.
Yeah, we've talked about it. The defense, I really don't. It doesn't really matter who starts because they are all so good. They are
Yeah.
all so good. Like the
Mm.
main defenders are also good. Doesn't
Yeah.
really matter who starts.
Just pick them out of a hat. It's all fine. Just
It's
it's
all
all
fine.
yeah, it's all fine. Genuinely, that's probably what they do for Thiago Silva or Christensen. They just flip a coin.
Christensen.
They just flip a coin and see. Okay, you take this one, because yeah,
Like Tuchel will go into the changing room. Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you play this? You
yeah.
play that? Yeah, yeah. Let him play. I'll
Okay,
I'll play the
okay,
next one.
yeah.
The
Damn,
understanding
he
is
won
there.
the toss this time. I'll get the next one.
They are also good, but I don't. But I think the issue is whether to start Chilwell if it's fit over Alonso. I
Yeah.
think that would be the main issue. The lineup, like you said, it picks itself. But Chilwell or Alonso, I think I'll go with Chilwell. I'll go
Yeah.
with Chilwell. It will be like I said in the beginning. It will be a very big task for him or a big ask from him to um play or start against Juventus, but he has it in him. He has it in him. He has it. Like I don't know what kind of issues he's going through. I think it's a kind of like a mental issue he has to get in the game or get his head
Yeah.
straight and be able to play and commit fully. But I think he needs to take his time though. If he's not ready, he's not ready. But if he's ready, like
Yeah.
I think he should start ahead of Alonso.
For like that side of the pitch, he'll be up against like really players who are really good 1v1 in Juan Cuadrado and Chiesa. So
Chiesa.
in thinking about Alonso going up against those two just doesn't really sit very well, does it?
It doesn't.
No. So I would really want to see Chilwell at least, and then if Werner's fine, but otherwise Mount on the left side to kind of help out Chilwell would be great, I think. But yeah, that's the only that's the one really interesting part of that, like, the lineup that I think I'll be definitely refreshing at the hour mark before the game to see, because I really don't know how it's going to go, because we all want Chilwell, but Tuchel just, you never know. Alonso might put in a Blasic again. Never know. But yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, here's to that though. And I think we're going to call time on this one. It's been a good length of a pod for this one. I'll take an hour or so on this one, but it always feels shorter. That it just feels like it's gone in a breeze almost. But yeah, really lovely to.
Let me just put in, like, the Chelsea women's team. They beat I think Man United 6-1 today. They they trashed them. They they trashed them ahead. I didn't watch I wanted to watch the game, but I was very tired and I dozed off. When I woke up, it was 6-1, and some care with the brace, and Kirby opened up the scoring. So, like, it's just unfortunate that we lost the first game, but we would have been top of the league by now. But it's just 3 games in, so it's still early days. But to win and beat Man United 6-1, they are not too good. They are not too good in the Super League, the Women's Super League. But yeah, it's still a statement. It's still a big statement.
And we stole their best player.
We did. We did.
Yeah, I think I saw on Twitter today that one of the goals, Penahada, scored a really, really beautiful goal. Like put through. She looked so fast. She outpaced all the defenders and then chipped it over the keeper. It's like, oh yes,
she's very fast.
Brilliant.
Like, she's a very good finisher. She's a very good. Yeah. She and some care are they're just a delight to watch. Whenever they are on form, they are just fantastic. And you know, Kirby is going to be Kirby. Like, she's always going to be Kirby. So there's nothing about it. That's our Hazard. That's our Kirby. So we just take it. And if she's fit, she plays very well. I've not really seen a bad game from her ever since I started watching the women's game. I think from 2015 or 2016. I've never really seen a bad game from her. So yeah, it's a very good start. And we've still not seen Lauren. James perform for us yet. I think she's injured, or nobody can say really. I ask around and we don't get anything. But I think she's injured. So when she's ready to come in, we would see her play.
Yeah, looking forward to that one for sure as well. But yeah, seeing her come back and play for Chelsea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I can't really think of anything else to squeeze in onto the end of this one.
I think that's it. We've exhausted all Chelsea topics.
Yeah, we have. We've pursued all avenues of Chelsea on this one, and yeah, looking forward to the next one. Hopefully, where we'll have a review of the Juventus game. Hopefully with Mohammad. I should have mentioned that earlier if you still. But yeah, Mohammad hopefully will be back. He's now moved to London, and he went to his first game against Villa, penalty shootout win, Cup, which I'm sure was pretty memorable. And he apparently has lost his voice. But yeah, we'll hopefully we'll see him in the next one, and yeah, he'll be back. But yeah, looking forward to being on the next one. And cheers, Amart. Thank you so much, man, for coming on. It's always so much fun to record these with you and even talk about the defeats. It's
like I said, it's our therapy session.
Yeah,
It's a therapeutic session. So we just take it like that, and then we move on, because we started the recording in a sad mood, and we finished on a high. So it's
exactly.
good.
Yeah,
Free therapy
yeah,
session.
exactly. And now we're all buzzing for Juventus, and a nicer way to,
Yeah.
yeah, or better way to end it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a real pleasure, guys, to be a host. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And we'll catch you in the next one for a Juventus review. It's been a real pleasure, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.